Mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya. Mini skirt on, dip my body
Hello. You are now tuned in to the A Little Bit A Lot podcast. I'm your host, Kristen, and welcome back to another episode. This week has been a lot, guys. We have got a few things on the docket for us to cover. You already know we're doing a rapid fire episode worth of full coverage because there have been a lot of crazy things happening in the world. We've got Nurse Hannah, we've got Jackie Aina, we've got the United Healthcare shooter. I mean, geez Louise, it's a lot happening, but we've also got some good things that have gone on with like Spotify Wrapped, YouTube recap, and I kind of wanted to go over all of those things with you guys. So let's get straight into it. But before we do that, if you're new here, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you give this video a like, comment down below to let me know your thoughts on today's topics with our rapid fire, and go ahead and subscribe. Your girl is on her road to her first 700 subscribers. Yes, let's get those subscribers up so that way you can join the A Little Bit A Lot podcast community because it's lit over here. I swear to you, if you subscribe, you won't regret it. And turn those post notifications on as well so you're staying up to date with everything. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, thank you. Go ahead and rate that 5 stars and leave a review to let me know what you think about the show. And click that follow button on Spotify and Apple as well so that way you're staying up to date with everything as well on that end too. So first thing on the agenda, I just wanted to do a quick recap of Spotify Wrapped this year. I know I've already posted it like on my socials, but I just wanted to come on to the pod for those who like don't follow me on Instagram and TikTok at A Little Bit A Lot podcast, with my hashtag year on YouTube 2024. The numbers have come in, and oh my gosh, compared to last year, guys, we have had a lot of growth in this community, and I really appreciate and love every single one of you down. We've had 522 new subscribers this year, 102.6k views on YouTube, 125 uploads, 4,865 likes, 304 comments, and 190 shares. Most viewed video was the Male Mom episode. Guys, every single day I'm getting notifications from people commenting on that video. It's crazy. I think that's also my top short for the year as well. That's got 1,369 likes. And of course, the Male Mom video has 469 hours watched, which is insane. So thank you so much for that. And when it comes to my Spotify Wrapped, I already said it on my social media post, but I don't really expect too much from my Spotify Wrapped because I know a majority of you do watch on YouTube, and that's perfectly fine because I would prefer that most of you watch on YouTube just because I do most of my things on YouTube. I'm not really like a Spotify listener, but if you are, then love that down. You know, keep doing what you guys are doing. But I had 190% follower growth on Spotify this year. I was the top, 10 show for like 40 something fans, top 5 show for 29 fans, and the top number 1 show for 9 fans on Spotify. Of course, my top country was United States with an average rating of 5. Thank you so much to everybody who has left that 5-star rating on Spotify. I appreciate you. Just on Spotify alone, we've had listeners from 11 countries. So yeah, it was really a great year. I've just had so much fun getting to know you guys and building this community. You know, whether we're talking about pop culture or mental health, you know, nostalgia with throwbacks and movies that I love, like it's all just been such a fun ride, especially with this being like my first full year on YouTube. Because for those who don't know, I started this show in August of 2023. So it's been well over 365 days now. So to get that data after like a full year going in was great, because last year when I got my Spotify Wrapped and my YouTube recap, I'd only been podcasting for a couple months at that time. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. So now that I've talked about that, I also wanted to get into Nurse Hannah. Oh my goodness, guys, this has been such a crazy story. I had first started kind of getting some glimpses of what was going on TikTok, because this is apparently a TikTok creator. So I kind of wanted to get into this story and share my thoughts, and then also give a recap for those who are like, what is going on? Because I know a lot of times I see drama happening, but then sometimes I'm too lazy to look into it. But I figured, why not go hard or go home and look into what's going on with this nurse? Like, girl, why are you a nurse and you're in the drama that you're in? I don't understand. It's getting crazy out here in these streets. People will, words of Cardi B and Offset, do anything for clout, and they're proving that time and time again. And I truly think that that's what this Nurse Hannah is after. I truly think, in my opinion, that she's rage baiting, and she knows what she's doing so she can get the coin. So with Nurse Hannah, if you guys don't know, she went viral on TikTok first because she had allegedly 17 dirty diapers sitting around her house. And some people did not like that, myself included. I personally feel like, I don't have children, of course, but in the future, when I do, I don't really believe that I would be the type of mom to want that many dirty diapers laying around, if any dirty diapers laying around. I know that, like, a lot of parents feel that way, but there were some parents online who were like, no, I feel like this is relatable. Like, I feel less shame to be transparent. Say sometimes it gets a little hectic, sometimes it gets a little crazy, and you end up with a lot of dirty diapers. But 17, I feel like having one or two, maybe, I don't know. Like, it's really hard to like fully have an opinion on this, to be fair, just because like I'm not a mom, so I don't want anybody to come for me and be like, well, you don't have children, so it's like, but morally, like, that's just a little bit, that's serving a little crust. That's a little crust. I don't really know about 17 or beaner is a little bit nuts, but some people were like, yeah, hashtag relatable. I'm like, okay, so that's a little strange. And then the next controversy that was going on with this woman was the fact that viewers were concerned for her child's safety, because there was a video of her son flinching when their dad went to go give him something. And people really thought that that was a red flag. It's always a red flag, in my opinion, whenever you see a child flinch. That just isn't the traditional normal reaction, I feel personally, like a child should have when you reach towards them. No child that I've encountered in my family has had that response when reaching towards them. So that is a bit of a red flag. Doesn't necessarily mean 100% that the child is being abused. I guess not. But it's sketchy. It's sketchy for sure. And it makes me personally feel like something's going on there. And another situation that's been going on that people are really upset about is the fact that her and her husband are always filming themselves going out to eat, having dinner, having lunch, but their son never seems to have his own plate. There was a video that I saw where they had went out to eat and the son literally didn't have his plate, and she's sitting there just like eating a salad, grabbing a bite of this, grabbing a bite of that, and the kid is just looking at them. And there was also a time where she was in the car and she had a sub, and she said out of her mouth that she didn't want to get him his own sub, but he could have a bite of hers. Again, I just personally don't feel like that's something that should have ever even be posted online, or even said to your child. Like, why would you not want to get him his own food? I'm so confused. And there's been like multiple instances where she's been on camera being like, no, this is just for mommy and daddy. So it's like, what's going on? questionable boots. And the last thing that I noticed that was another big reason why people had a problem with her content was the fact that there was a video where she said that it was 22 degrees outside, but that it felt like 8. And she showed herself going to a store, I think it was Walmart or something like that, and she started complaining about the prices of the coats and was saying that she did not want to spend $35 on a coat for her son. But then at the same time, people have noticed that she's made multiple videos where she's talked about, out of her mouth, she said that she spent $1,500 on hunting supplies and $50 on Popeyes. So it's just kind of like contradictory, Boots, because why are you spending thousands of dollars on all of this other stuff, going out to eat, doing this, doing that, but then you don't want to spend $35 on a coat for your son? Again, we don't see everything that goes on with any content creator's life, so she very may well have gotten the coat for the son in the end, but from what I saw, she didn't. So I'm not 100% sure if in the end she did end up getting the coat, but that, in my opinion, is a red flag. Like, girl, at the end of the day, I just feel like content creators like this are just problematic to begin with, because like I said at the beginning, I just honestly feel like they're rage baiting. Like, she could very well, like I said, be getting the coat, but then complain about it just to make people upset so she can get the coin. You just never really know what's real with anybody these days on the internet. A lot of the content creators that we follow are truly living a life of illusion and delusion. So you just don't really know, and that just makes me so unsure of so much of the content that I'm consuming. Not like I consumed any of her content up until yesterday to do research for this topic, because I'm like, wait, what is going on with this girl? Like, I'm seeing way too much going on. But yeah, like, I just feel like a lot of you girlies should not be content creators, because half of the time you're putting yourselves in these situations, just like Nurse Hannah is. Like, this would never be a big deal, and you would never be getting scrutinized if you didn't put yourself out there to be scrutinized. And I feel like it takes like a couple of seconds to think about what you're about to post before you post it, and it's just apparent that people like Nurse Hannah and other moms that are problematic with rage baiting do not think about it, or maybe they do. I don't know. But yeah, and I believe as of today that I'm filming this, she deleted her TikTok. So I don't think her TikTok is up, but I believe she has a YouTube channel still, and she was like still posting on her YouTube. I'm not 100% sure if the YouTube is up or not as of today, but yeah. And I just feel like at the end of the day, like, some of y'all shouldn't even be moms, and that's just really the tea at the end of the day. Some people that do questionable things on camera when their children are involved, like, should not be parents, but unfortunately, like, we can't control that. So there have been multiple people who have said that they've called CPS on this woman. I'm not 100% sure if that's 100%, but that's what they're saying, and I don't know if CPS has officially gotten involved. There was also rumors going on that she was arrested, but then they're like, no, she wasn't actually arrested. I don't know. And then, of course, a lot of people were comparing her to Ruby Frankie, and I did see that she responded to those allegations and was like, I find it funny that you guys are comparing me to Ruby Frankie. And people are like, why is that funny to you? That should not make you chuckle in any way, shape, or form. Like, girl, that is not the tea. Like, what is your issue? And especially with her, like, being a nurse and doing this is insane. There was also a time where allegedly she said she didn't want to get prenatal care for her unborn, which is like, girl, what? Super confusing. I had a coworker who like did the same thing, and thankfully the baby turned out okay, but so questionable. Fully smoked cigarettes the whole time it took breaks, like fully pregnant and everything. And I'm like, girl, what? That was a crazy time when I was working in fast food. So all I'm, hoping for at the end of the day is that her child is okay through all of this, because I know that sometimes whenever parents are going under scrutiny like this, and let's say worst case scenario, this child is unwell and not in a 100% safe environment, I'm hoping that they're not like taking it out more on the child. You never know. And sometimes it's unfortunate that things aren't done until it's too late, like it was with Ruby Frankie, where like allegedly CPS had been involved multiple times, but then like now the kids are tied up, cut up, bruised, malnourished, and now so they're doing something about it. It's like, girl, what? So that's really, really unfortunate. Hope that her child is safe and okay. Like, that's all that matters in this situation, for real. But very, very problematic content creator, to say the least. So let me know your guys' thoughts on her situation as well in the comments on YouTube or Spotify, because you can comment on Spotify as well. Next, we have the CEO of the United Healthcare being unalived. Guys, it is a crazy, crazy time to be alive right now. No pun intended. Like, girl, what? Not only do we have to worry about school shooters, but then we also are having like people taking matters into their own hands and standing up against the corrupt health care insurance system is crazy. So in case you don't know, there was a CEO, like I said, of the company United Healthcare, which is like one of like the big leading health insurance companies in the United States. The CEO was shot like during the day in New York, and they're saying that the suspect is named Luigi Mangione. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, his name is Luigi. And he was arrested at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. And when he was arrested, he was allegedly in possession of guns, bullets, and multiple fake IDs and cash. He also had a handwritten document that expressed quote unquote ill will towards corporate America, and he included passages such as, quote, frankly, these parasites had it coming, end quote, according to the police. So investigators are saying that the words deny, defended, depose were also written on the shell casings found at the scene of the CEO's murder. And law enforcement say that this may be a reference to the 3Ds of insurance, which is tactics that are used by companies to reject payment claims that are made by patients. So they don't be wanting to obviously pay for a lot of people's health care, and that's really, really unfortunate. Deny, defend, depose. Crazy. So overall, I just personally feel like it's getting real Hunger Games out here. Taking out the head of a greedy corporation feels very Katniss during what's the last movie? To Kill a Mockingjay, I think is the name of that movie. Girl, when Katniss went to go shoot President Snow, but actually took out, was it President Coin, I think? That gagged me to the 1000th degree. This situation feels like exactly what Katniss did. She said, you know what? At the end of the day, there is a power-hungry person in charge of something that I don't agree with, and her head top needs to be gone. And that's how she felt. And this is how Luigi is feeling. And I've seen that the general public are siding with Luigi's decision to take matters into his own hands and off the CEO in the name of the fact that insurance companies are grimy a lot of the times. And this is coming from someone who has literally worked in a prior authorization company, a position rather, where I worked with insurances to get authorizations for like CTs, MRIs, and it is like pulling teeth to get these insurance companies, Blue Care Network, Blue Cross, Meridian, Molina, United Healthcare. Like, it's truly like getting pulling teeth to get them to want to pay for the exams that people need. Like, there's literally been situations where I'm trying to get authorizations approved for cancer patients who need PET scans that will help them diagnose their like stage of cancer, or either like help them get a follow-up to see what's going on with the cancer after they've had, chemo and radiation, and they don't want to approve it, and they make you do this, do that, and the other to get the exam approved. And then on top of that, these exams cost like thousands of dollars, and these patients cannot afford the copay. And then let's say you don't have a copay, but then have your deductible. And then let's say you met your deductible. After your deductible, then you still have an out of pocket, which is so freaking stupid. I feel like if you meet your deductible for the year, then that should be it. Why is there a deductible then and out of pocket? Like, insurance is so confusing and stupid and dumb, and the reasons and like policies that they have on what they will and won't approve is like so ridiculously crazy. Like, it's really, really, really frustrating to be in that position of trying to get these people the help that they need, let alone the frustration of being that person. I can't even imagine like being in that position. And I've been, privileged enough to be able to always have good healthcare my whole life through my mom's job, and we've never really had too many issues with getting things covered and having like too many out-of-pocket expenses that we couldn't really handle. So that's really fortunate. And same thing with like my mom and dad, like they're both cancer survivors, and my dad hasn't had to pay out of pocket for anything for his treatment and his scans and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, that's just such a blessing. But there's other people out there with like crappier insurance plans that aren't so fortunate. So I think that at the end of the day, I'm not saying that what he did was right, of course, like literally unaliving someone is crazy work at the end of the day. But I do think that regardless, what he's done may or may not open up more conversation about how corrupt the healthcare insurance industry in America is. So overall, like, it's just really sad, the struggles that people are going through to get coverage. Like, it's ridiculous. So for the most part, I'm able to like personally get like basic health stuff, but like even then, like, I don't even have dental insurance. I don't have dental or vision because like all I can afford in my salary is like basic health. So like that was annoying because like once I got off my mom's insurance, I said, oh, it's me versus me. Like, I gotta choose to pay and have these things taken out of my check. So I'm like, I'm gonna get the bare minimum necessities. But that sucks because then like I had a cavity and my tooth needed to be pulled, and then I had to like sign up for a payment plan to be able to get that taken care of, and like that sucks. And they're also saying that like Luigi allegedly has like back pain, and like maybe he had some issues with like his back pain and insurance. I'm not sure, or maybe he just sees what's going on and was like, I'm gonna do something about this. I don't know, but like, it's a really, really crazy situation. So regardless of what he did, I do think that the conversation of having, more fair practices in the health insurance industry needs to be talked about, like, for sure. I mean, there's people like Obama who really tried really hard to be able to get more healthcare access for everyone in America. And it's just such a shame that we are like supposed to be one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but a lot of citizens can't afford quality healthcare. It's crazy. So, Luigi, good luck, babe. Like, you got a lot coming for you. He's got a long road ahead, but he's standing 10 toes on his decision, and that's his tea, that's his business, I guess. So we'll see what happens with my boy, but rest in peace to the CEO. But move the conversation to really trying to see what can we do to make change instead of all the other CEOs kind of scurrying away and like hiding. What are you going to do now? What do we do now? What do we do next? Type things, you know? We've also got the Jackie Aina tea, guys. There has been so much going on with Jackie Aina within the last couple of years, honestly, let alone the last few weeks. And I've never talked about her on my channel before because honestly, like I was a little bit scared. Like I'm not trying to have any beef with Miss Jackie, and that's on period. And I feel like no matter what you say about her, like she's not gonna like it, and that's just the real tea. Like, unless it's literally just praise, 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 boots, 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 then you're done in her eyes from what I've seen. That's what it just seems like to me. Unless you have 100% good things to say about Jackie Aina, you're a chop in her eyes. So I'm not trying to get my channel flagged or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like, girl, it's getting too crazy for me, like, not to express some of my concerns with what's going on with her, just for the fact that, like, as a consumer of her content for so long, I'm just not really liking the direction that she's going right now, and it's really, really unfortunate. So it's like, Jackie, if you see this, like, I'm not trying to like bring your legacy down, and at the end of the day, like, I'm just a small podcaster with a small community, and I feel like I have a right to look and assess and see what's going on and go from there. Because at the end of the day, if you're using your platform to talk about issues, like, it is our right to be able to then process and take in and analyze what you're saying, you know? So there's that. But at the end of the day, like, I, growing up, like, have basically been a Jackie girl down. Like, when I first started getting into makeup, when I was, like, basically after high school in 2014, like 2014, 15, 16, 17, like, I was really giving heavy makeup girl. And that was during a time where I still feel like there weren't a lot, like a huge amount of Black beauty influencers at that time. Like, that was when, like, Alyssa Ashley was starting to, like, really come up, and, a couple of different people. So I'm not saying that there weren't any, right? Because, like, of course we had Jackie Aina, we've had Alyssa Ashley, but at the same time, I feel like now in 2024, like, we've got a good amount. We've got a great amount of Black beauty influencers. But during that time, it was a struggle for me a little bit to try to get, different tutorials with people that looked like me. And Jackie was always like a constant in that way, where I'm like, okay, this is a Black woman that I feel like I can learn a thing or two from. She's incredibly talented when it comes to makeup. Like, at the end of the day, regardless of how we feel about the personal choices that Jackie's made, when it comes to the work and when it comes to the talent with that makeup, there's no denying that she knows what she's doing, period. Like, she's a professional. The way she can flawlessly execute a beat goes crazy. Like, she goes hammer bammer on that lid. Like, the blending, immaculate. Like, there is so much to learn from her when it comes to her tutorials, for real. So she has taught me a lot, and I, really supported her, and I was really down with her. But now I'm just like, I'm kind of like off Jackie a little bit, just because I feel like I'm just a bit disappointed in what her legacy has turned to. Like, I think at the end of the day, because she was so influential for me personally, I feel like so many other people feel that same way. Like, she was a big part at the end of the day and helping the movement of holding brands accountable for having more shade ranges for Black women with foundation and other makeup products. But I feel like now her content has shifted into like Black luxury. And at the end of the day, love to see that. I'm never going to hate on a Black woman having like the finer things in life, because at the end of the day, like, let's be real, like, we all want success, you know, and we all want to be able to have that Birkin bag type of lifestyle and mentality. Like, you're capping if you say you don't. So I think that her content, you know, is cool in that sense, to where it's like, it gives you like goals, right? And you're like, okay, this is what I want to get to. But it's never going to be content that's like relatable anymore. It's always just going to kind of be like unattainable content. I'm not going to be steaming my sheets every day, Jackie. I'm not going to have 1,000,001 perfumes and fragrances. So for me personally, I don't relate to her content anymore when it comes to the Black luxury. And that's just a personal thing. Like, at the end of the day, I know a lot of people who love to consume Black luxury content and get inspiration from it. But I personally like to be able to see content that is relatable and like achievable and attainable for me. Like, I'm not anywhere near her budget to be able to even like use half of the products or things in her house that she uses. So that kind of turns me off a little bit. But it's like, if you love that, then I like that. Like, at the end of the day, it's still good content. Her home is absolutely gorgeous. Like, her aesthetic is like just eats down. So it's like, love that for her. But me personally, it's just not relatable anymore. So, you know, at the end of the day, I also do feel like at the same time, with, you know, beauty content creators that have been in the game for her as long as she has been, it's kind of natural for them to like move from beauty into like more lifestyle. So I do understand fully the reason why she's kind of pivoted, and then especially with like her business ventures with like her candle business and fragrances and stuff like that. Like, I do get it. So, not hating on it. Love that for her, love her success, but it's just not really for me anymore. And I just feel like every 3 seconds there seems to be drama like with her name that, in my personal opinion, doesn't really align with what I thought her character and like morals and values were at the beginning. Again, granted, I do not know Jackie, and I don't know, you know, we don't know any of the content creators for real. It's content for a reason. Is meant for us to consume. Like, they're not our friends. But at the end of the day, you can still kind of have like a perceived character like image based on how much you do know and how much they do let you in. And I just feel like it doesn't align with what she does now. And there's just like a few things that she's done that, especially when it comes to the drama, that I'm just like, ooh, like, don't really love that. Like, for example, there's a company called Topicals. They are everywhere. They're a Black owned company, and they basically make like skincare products. They have like these under eye patches that are viral, and they have like a bunch of different products and stuff, and like creams and face stuff. And I heard that allegedly there was a creator who did not like their new lip gloss that they dropped, and they thought that it was too sticky, which, if that's true, then like, I totally get that, because I'm not a sticky gloss girl either. I want something to be able to be shiny, but not too shiny, and smooth. So I totally get that. And in my personal opinion, I feel like that's like a valid critique. Like, it's her opinion. Anything that's your opinion, I feel like is valid. So yeah, but I was like under the impression that allegedly Topicals didn't like that. So then they hired Jackie to do a review of the same lip gloss. And they're saying that she basically mocked the video creators like critiques word for word, and then like used a little bit of the product like on top of other stuff. And then basically was like, well, I don't have a problem with it. And I'm like, ooh, don't really know if that's like a good look on Topicals end. To a certain extent, I understand. Like, you want to be able to combat the negativity as a business owner. Like, it is a business, you have a brand, and the whole purpose of that is to earn income. So I understand why they would want to like turn around and like do a review that they know is going to be positive, but it's like, morally, how do we feel about that? Right? And also morally, how do we feel about Jackie allegedly accepting this video and kind of like doing it to kind of like combat another YouTuber's specific words in their review? Like, I don't really know if that's really a good look on Jackie's end, in my opinion, right? So that was just a little bit strange to me. And I also feel like she kind of seems to block people for any little thing. Like, every 5 seconds I'm seeing somebody being like, Jackie blocked me because I said this, and this, or I liked this, and this, and it sometimes don't even be having nothing to do with her, but she don't like it, so she blocks. And it's like, girl, what? That's kind of confusing to me. But at the end of the day, to play devil's advocate, I do understand that it's Jackie's right to block anybody that she wants to block. But in my personal opinion, like, it's getting out of control. Like, why are so many people blocked? And another red flag that I've seen recently was there was a creator called Paige Christie, and she made a video several years ago where she talked about influencers and how they need to be more transparent on their videos if they're being paid to do a product review or if they're earning commission from like affiliate links. Because at the time, like, I remember this was not like a super common thing to do. People were not like following, what is it, the FTC or whatever the heck it's called, like the laws to where you are technically supposed to disclose it. But now whenever we get on TikTok in 2024, Instagram, people will hashtag ad. Like, you need to make it clear that you're being paid for this. This is an ad. So yeah, like, that was really a big turning point during that era where there were so many people, not just Paige Christie, not just this content creator, but there was a ton of people, in the beauty space that were fans that were being like, hey, no, we need to hold these influencers accountable. If we're going to be watching and supporting your content, we need, it would be nice to know, like, are you receiving coin from this? Is this an ad? Because that really makes a difference for a lot of people. Some people don't feel like as compelled to purchase something if they know that it's an ad compared to something that they're recommending that they bought with their own money. And people have a right to be able to know that and then gauge from there with their own decision on if they are going to take the recommendation and from the review or not and spend their money on it or not. So that was something that was like really important, that was like shifting in the beauty community with like holding those influencers accountable. And I think that with Paige Christie making a video about it, it wasn't, in my opinion, like this big deal because so many people, thousands of people were, complaining about it too. And in her video, it seems like she was, also praising Jackie for what she's done for Black women and the beauty space. And she was just kindly offering a suggestion of, hey, Jackie, like, no shade, no tea, love you down, love your videos, you're great, you're awesome, you're amazing. Here is a way that you can be able to stand out from everybody else to be able to hold yourself accountable and be transparent with your audience on ways to say, I'm making money from this, or this is an ad. But regardless of how nice Paige was about her suggestion, Jackie didn't like the suggestion because, like I said earlier, it just seems like she doesn't like anyone saying anything unless it's 100% good. So, of course, then Jackie proceeded to file a copyright claim on Paige. This is what Paige is alleging in her video that I watched recently. And then Jackie allegedly made her own video and basically alleged that Paige and her husband hacked her bank account and stole $1,000 from her. So then everybody's coming for Paige and being like, oh, we hate you, she's being bullied. But after that, Paige is like, girl, what? No. Like, this all started because I said something you didn't like, even though I was trying to be nice and trying to be helpful. And now you're saying that I committed a crime when I live in the UK? Like, what? Is like, that's actually crazy. And so then after that, Paige had to basically dox herself to like prove that Jackie was lying. And then Jackie's fans started calling her out for it. And Paige says that then Jackie apologized on like Instagram or Twitter or something, like to her fans, and being like, oh, sorry, I should have never brought that up, yada, yada, yada. And never did issue an apology to Paige herself, is what she's alleging. She's like, she never said sorry to me. She apologized to her fans. So I just feel like at the end of the day, allegedly accusing someone for a crime over a helpful suggestion made in a YouTube video is crazy work. Like, if Jackie really did that, that's insane. And there's also drama going on right now between her and these content creators on TikTok called Mecca and Jamila. I follow Mecca and Jamila, and I listen to their podcast called Unhinged and Immoral. It's a relatively new podcast. You guys should check it out after you listen to this episode. And I think that they always have a lot to offer, and they're really funny. And they come from like backgrounds in PR. They're both educated Black women. We love to see it. So a lot of the times they do know what they're talking about. They are degreed up like myself. So it's just really nice to see, especially Jamila. Jamila is like so freaking funny. Like, Mecca's funny too, but Jamila makes me kiki. So much to the point where like I even show my boyfriend the podcast and we watch it together sometimes as well. He thinks they're both really funny. So now bring us to 2024. There's even more drama going on because somehow Jackie has an issue with these two. So Jackie is now alleging that Mecca and Jamila bullied her. And she's saying that allegedly because they're lighter skinned, she's like, I'm a victim of colorism. And I'm just like really confused. I'm really confused as to why Jackie would even feel the need to bring up such smaller content creators compared to her following. At the end of the day, Mecca and Jamila do have like obviously a way bigger following than me, but it's not like Jackie level. So it's kind of just like, girl, why, in my opinion, if you're Jackie, why are you even bringing up creators that aren't even on like your scale? You know what I mean? Like, Mecca and Jamila are much smaller compared to you. So why are you even worried about it? And why are we bringing up colorism? Like, it's just a lot of people I'm seeing on TikTok were like really, really confused about everything that Jackie had to say in her allegations. And then Mecca and Jamila went on their podcast and they were like, we did not bully Jackie, in our opinion. Like, we didn't bully that girl. So at the end of the day, you guys can look into what was said specifically on Mecca and Jamila's podcast, because they go way more into detail with like bringing up the receipts on being like, this is what I said, you guys listen and you tell me, do you think that's bullying? So I'll have to link their video in the description on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, so that way you guys can see for yourself. But I don't really think that they were like, that counts as bullying. And I just don't really think that the colorism situation should have ever even been brought up, because regardless of them being lighter skinned, like Jamila and Mecca always talk about how much, you know, they love being Black and how much they love being around Black people. And like, especially if you listen to their podcast, like, I'm just so confused. Like, I personally don't perceive them ever as being colorist, in my opinion. Maybe there's some things I'm missing, you know, and if I am, then like, let me know in the comments. But from the content that I've seen from Mecca and Jamila, I don't think it's giving that. So I personally feel like Jackie might be tripping a little bit. And I just want to, leave with a little ending statement on the matter. And I just feel like at the end of the day, I wrote down that Jackie does have a right to her feelings. Okay. And she has a right to be able to have boundaries, of course, with things like the fact that she doesn't like being called auntie. So she's blocking anybody that calls her auntie. And at the end of the day, I know that Jackie's not a robot, and it's not a great feeling at the end of the day to be talked about, regardless of how big of an influencer you are. It's not fun when someone has anything remotely negative to say or anything to say that you don't like. But I just feel like she takes it a little bit too far, right? She has a right, but I can still feel like, girl, you're doing a little bit too much. And I just feel like I would like her to be a little bit more careful, I should say, with her accusations going forward. Because accusing someone of colorism and, accusing someone of a crime, like stealing, money from you, or giving smaller content creators a hard time for like any little critique, I feel like is just doing a little bit too much. It's doing a little bit too much. And I feel like at the end of the day, I just wish that Jackie would kind of just pull a Beyonce and kind of be like above the noise. But I know at the end of the day, even for Cardi B, who's like one of the most like known global superstars, it's like hard for her to like stop, to get offline. Because there's so many times where I wish like Cardi B and Nicki would just get the frick off Twitter. Get off, get off, get off, get off, log off. Do not look at any of the noise. Like, we can all wish that, but I know at the end of the day, it's easier said than done. So there are, this isn't just such a black and white situation when it comes to Jackie being entitled to her feelings, but we can also be entitled to our feelings about her feelings. Like, that's our right as well. So that's what it is at the end of the day. So let me know, like, what did you guys think? Is she doing too much? Is she not? I don't know, but like I said, Jackie, I don't want no smoke. Like, I don't want no smoke. But yes, so that is all I've got for you guys today. Quite a few things have been going down. So, like I said, I'm gonna make sure that I link all the other resources in the description for you guys to follow up on as well. And again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, thank you so much to everybody that has supported this podcast this past year. Like, you guys are just so amazing. I'm just truly, truly gagged at the community that I've built and the support that you guys give me all the time. Like, it's amazing. Even with like supporting my new endeavors with like my coloring, I always plug it every episode. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Coloring with Kristen. I do both podcasting, coloring. Your girl is just in her creative era, and I just so appreciate all the love. So everything will be linked in the description for you guys to follow me if you aren't following me on all of the rest of the socials as well. And like I also said at the beginning of the episode, if you're watching on YouTube, give the video a like, comment down below to let me know what you think about the hot topics and the gossip of the week, and subscribe. Spotify, Apple, rate that 5 stars, leave a review. And with that, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Forward cause I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with y'all.